Pep, your last final at Wembley, you won 6-0. You put on a real show.
Sorry.
The FA Cup final at Wembley,
Yeah.
you won 6-0. You put on a great show. Is that your hope again, or if it's a really dull game but you win the cup, is that the main thing for you?
You have a lot of experience as a journalist. You cannot ask me that. Before the final from Watford, we didn't expect that. So in that moment, we were incredible, excited. We won the most toughest league of my life, beating Liverpool for 1 point. So and our mood in that moment, I felt it doesn't matter. The opponent is going to face us. We're going to beat them. And finals, you never can think about we are going to win. I don't know how margin. It's lack of respect for our opponent. They had all week to prepare in that game. Our mental and tough game was again against Madrid. I know we're going to suffer of that for the next days because it's normal. Because it's not just the game, it's the days before, the weeks before, preparing mentally this game and how difficult and demanding it is. And after it is a drop of adrenaline or something, in your mind and your body. I never thought, just prepare what you have to do to win the final. And after the final for itself, it speaks, talk about how it is. As better one team is or the other one, that will be the final. But of course, we never thought about it, just preparing, and tomorrow going to start well to talk about them, to training and prepare with the final to try to win it.
What the reason I asked it, Pep, is that since you came to England, every game is like a real pressure game for you. If you lose, you're going to be slaughtered. And I just wondered if there was a little bit less pressure because you've won this trophy before. You still have the same intensity.
What I said to him is not just about myself. It's about, I think, all the managers in the big clubs, they feel that. So today everything is, since comparing when I arrived today with the social media, Twitter, Instagram, everything is more ups and downs, more extremes. It's like, wow, and that, you have to sack him and you have to change immediately. The people have not patience. But it's because it's, before it was more reflection because the people on the board, even the media was not in fact for the opinions too much for the other ones. It would take more decisions, more exactly what really happened. But it's what it is. But it's not just my case. I think all the managers in the big clubs suffer that. So looks like you cannot lose one game. Looks like you cannot lose 1-2 in the first leg in 80 finals. And of course you can lose 1-2 in the first leg in the 80 finals. And of course you can lose games and lose competitions. No, in the sports, just one single team win all the time, every 3 days, all the competitions during 10, 11, 12, 14 years of career. It's impossible. But there is another point. So the people who try to win or are there, the target for the rest of the people in the world is to underestimate what you have done, to put it down what you do. It's part of the human beings, the process, not just here. But it's not me. It's in all the clubs and all the managers. It's part of the The important is knows the club what is the path, especially the managers, where your people close to you to know exactly the diagnosis about the teams or the diagnosis about the games or how did you play or how we are. That is, I think, the most important thing. And being there and trying, that is only we can do. And we lost many times, especially in knockout games, but the people cannot deny that how we were there, how incredible, committed until the end. And that is where I am proud the most. And that is the reason why we achieve a lot of finals. We won a lot of titles in the last seasons. That is the reason. When you play enough final, you meet the stats and meet the review, how many times we're there in the last period, you realize, we have done this? 6 domestic titles in a row there? It's another team I do it? No teams and do it that in the past in this country. So this is because it's so difficult. That's why it's so good being there again.
Pep, you've won such a lot in your career. I'm just wondering, does winning a trophy still give you the same kind of thrill that maybe it did at the beginning of your managerial career at Barcelona? And did you still? What does winning do for you?
The first ones are special, of course. First, you don't know you are able to do it, but now you realize more how difficult it is. The beginning was more the excitement. I don't know with our people we'll be able to do it. and it's wow, we did it. And after, but in the big clubs, always is the next day you celebrate, but the second day the people knock the door and say, we have to try it again, we have to do it again. Now is when start the season, I think we're going to win the Community Shield, the Super Cup in our countries against the champion of Europe. And you imagine how difficult it would be. And you did it. And I started the Carabao Cup and said, okay, we win it twice and start all the big clubs in the Premier League there, even the second team, and you are in the final again. And when you are there, wow, it's so difficult. And when you lift it, now you realize looks like more difficult than before. Every time looks like more difficult and more difficult. That is the feeling I have right now.
What kind of satisfaction do you get personally, though, from...
Much more now than before.
More now than at the beginning of your career?
Yeah, much more.
Even with something like the Carabao Cup, which is not seen as the Premier.
No, come on. I would prefer to win the Premier. It's not the same, the Premier League, the Carabao Cup. Sorry, Carabao guys. But it's not the same. It's not the same, of course not. But in the same time, it's good. You go to Preston the first game, and we play with Eric and Taylor and they play to win the game. And that is what I like of my teams. It happens all the time. So all the times the opponents cannot say. There's no one team opponent that can say the team we face, Manchester City or Bayern Munich or Barcelona, they didn't try to win. They didn't speculate it, or they were what happened, one action. We were courage. We were brave to go there. And all the time, when we defend more or we make long balls, it's because the opponent are good, and we have to defend, not because we want it.
Pep, just on Kevin, in the book Lewin Poll wrote, there was an interesting bit where Mikel Arteta was talking about how Kevin would often have great moments in games, but wasn't maybe dictating the tempo and controlling results, and that the change in him over the last few years is that he now does that. He now influences games so regularly. You've had some sort of remarkable midfielders that you've managed in your career. You Iniestas, Xavi's, Toni Kroos, and David Silva. Where is Kevin now in that sort of pantheon of sort of midfielders for you, and how important is he to everything you do as a team?
So we have not necessary to say absolutely anything about Kevin. You just take a look how he plays. So at the end, the players play for himself, and the managers play for ourselves through our teams. The performance, the continuity, the influence in our final third, in our finishing, and the desire, and his calm and positivity. And when I said, Kevin, what did you feel before the second penalty? I said, I'm going to score. So he doesn't feel much pressure. He likes to play in the big events. He's an exceptional player. So always I said to him, the simple things, Kevin, don't forget, make the simple things properly. Sometimes he's alone and lose the ball. And I said, Kevin, you cannot do it because you are able to see something special. You have the spaces where no one can say it. Sometimes you do it. But I think even with that, he's improving and improving. We cannot forget he has not 33 years old or 34. He's it's still a lot of years to play. And always you have the feeling when he's on the pitch and even he's playing not taking influence in that period of game especially, always had the feeling, and he's never disconnected, and he has something to do, and it's important,
For that first goal that he set up for Jesus on Wednesday, do you think the vast majority of players would have just laid it off to Sterling and just not even contemplated being able to do what he did? I mean, the pass was almost blind.
I think he crossed. I didn't speak with him. I think he crossed to Gabriel Jesus without knowing that Gabriel was there, but thinking, Gabriel, you have to be there. I think that was the best expressions to express the talent for the Kevin. Kevin hits the ball and he knows one player has to be there because the space will be there. And
the player knows that ball will always...
Yeah. I know when you're right there, the strikers knows the ball is coming. Yeah.
Another question on Kevin Pep. 2 years ago, he looked to be the best player in the Premier League and everybody wondered how he could get better. This year he's come back possibly better than even then. You giving him the captaincy and asking him to take penalties, giving him more responsibility, is that your challenge to him to go up, even to become even better?
Honestly, this type of players, and most of the players, I would say, the challenge comes from themselves, from inside themselves. You had to push them to reach something, especially because they are not big. So I don't like the players who complain about the things. And it's a guy, he want to reach something above what he has done. It depends on him. So I don't believe too much to seduce them. If you want to be better player. So the players knows what drills or skills has to improve. It comes from something inside. The big athletes in all sports come from inside, not because the trainers or someone has to tell them. So in the biggest ones, there is one detail, one is special details, and everyone has is never complain, never make a complaint for the clubs, organizations, managers. They know the reality. They face the difficulties. They face, okay, we're going to overcome and going to be better and better day by day. And do it. That is only the biggest ones. The other ones, they stay one in the positions, and after they change the clubs, and they cannot be in the top clubs. It all the time make the reason why is for the other ones. The big athletes always look himself. That is the best way. But unfortunately, it was not good enough when we went to 100 points to be the best player of the league. But maybe in the future.
And also, last year you won the Carabao Cup on penalties. A couple of years before you arrived, Manuel won the Carabao Cup on penalties. You would have been relieved to see Kevin score for many reasons in the Bernabeu the other night. But do you practice penalties as a squad before a game that can be decided on penalties?
Well, I would say
or
no.
do you just think it's impossible to prepare for?
Well, for our statistics about the penalty decisions in the, you're right, like you said, okay, we have a really good. The problem is when the single tackle penalty lately was not perfect. So lately the players for himself, the guys who want to take it, practice quite often. But I'm not a big fan too much to practice before they can do it, because I am always committed and I believe a lot. The penalty takers, we have many really good. Is how you face this penalty, how you face the right moment in front of Wembley and the pressure. Say there, how is here. I said, okay, I'm going to score. I don't know how I'm going to take, but I take a decision. I'm going to take in this way, and I'm going to do it. And I'm going to score a goal. That is the way, when you have doubts here, you are going to miss the penalty. It has to be, I'm going to be right, left, up, downs. It doesn't matter. Chipping, panenka, it doesn't matter. Look the keeper, don't look the keeper. That is not important. Important is one decision. I'm pretty sure I'm going to score. And when you think about that, normally it's happened.
So will you decide the penalty takers, or will you let before the game?
Always I like the players take a decision. Sometimes I write, okay, it depends if the players are there. At least I would love to take the penalty, this guy or these two guys. But during the game, you are in the moment in incredible mood and confident. You have to take a penalty, but sometimes you have doubts. I said, we have doubts, take another one. The taker has to be completely, fully commit, I'm going to score. It's no afraid, no negativity, not one single thought thinking I'm going to miss. When you are there, you cannot take it. If you are there and after miss it, it doesn't matter. Always the guys who miss the penalty say, you were sure to score? Yeah, we're sure. Okay, that is not a problem. The problem is, no, I have doubt. The moment I shoot the penalty, I doubt. That is the good.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.